Have you ever looked at a child and wondered, what exactly are they thinking? Through research from Jean Piaget, we are able to find scientific support for the idea that children truly do think differently than adults. Upon completion of my psychology degree and education minor, I hope to become a school counselor, where I plan to utilize Piaget's research in the field. My passion for both psychology and education qualify me to talk to you all about Jean Piaget and his research models. Jean Piaget has substantially influenced our understanding of cognitive development. Over the next several minutes, I will discuss Piaget's theories of genetic epistemology and the 4 stages of cognitive development, and how these theories are blended into modern education institutions for children. Piaget had a strong interest in development and thinking, and decided to make his interest a field of study, naming it genetic epistemology. Genetic epistemology is the study of development of knowledge, and Piaget's research allowed him to identify new trends and patterns and ideas within the field. Schemas are one skill that Piaget was able to discover through his research. Essentially, a schema is like a bucket of information and knowledge, allowing a person to organize information and knowledge. Schemas develop and grow through time through something called assimilation. For instance, when a baby sees a bird for the first time, they may create a schema that allows them to recognize flying things in the sky as a bird. So, say a baby's playing outside and sees an airplane in the sky. Their first instinct may be to say, plane. This would be assimilation, as the baby is associating a new object or idea with an old previous schema. However, if a baby is corrected and told plane, the baby may create a new schema and recognize that flying does not equate to bird. Rather, feathers, chirping, and flying means bird. Whereas a flying machine object means airplane. In this situation, the baby is accommodating for a new object by recognizing it does not fit with the previous schema of flying after being corrected. In this situation, the baby used adaptation, which Piaget defined as simply learning. The baby learned new material that allowed them to assimilate, accommodate, and then finally adapt. While Piaget continued to study genetic epistemology, he noticed that each aspect was more prevalent during certain periods of development specific to certain ages. So, he identified these stages in 4 different groups known as Piaget's 4 stages of development. Sensory motor stage is the first stage of development, and it lasts from birth until about the age of 2. During this stage, a baby uses motor skills to explore the world. This could look like thumb sucking, playing with toys, throwing objects, tasting different things, putting things in their mouth, all of which give them a stronger understanding. The next stage of development is called the pre-operational stage, and this lasts from the age of 2 to about the age of 7. During this stage, children begin to use their brains differently. For instance, playing pretend becomes extremely popular amongst this age group, and they use objects and people to pretend. Additionally, a child will be able to understand future events before they occur. This could look like a child knowing that they're going to go home after being out at the park all day, or being able to retrieve memories from the past, such as, don't you remember how much you loved that slice of cake, and them getting a little excited. The concrete operation stage is the next stage of development, which occurs from the ages of 7 to 11. A child usually is learning and able to apply logic during this stage of development. This can look like solving math problems and understanding reversibility and more. In a study by Barbara Fink from 1972, she was able to analyze student reactions to a science experiment. According to her research, children in the concrete operation stage are able to understand the conservation theory. For example, they're able to recognize that, say, a glass of water that's long and wide may fit into a different glass of water that's tall and skinny. The last stage of development is called the formal operation stage, and this is when a child begins to grasp the concept of hypothetical thinking. Some adolescents and adults are able to create a hypothesis and understand abstract concepts. While this stage can begin as early as age 12, it typically will last into adulthood. However, Piaget firmly believed that not everyone reaches this stage of development. Even though each of these stages has been proven into existence, research by Karen Fusen in 2009 demonstrated that children with exceptionalities are still able to go through these stages with proper aid from professionals. As these 4 stages of development have been strongly supported by numerous developmental psychologists, they have been applied into our education system as well. Piaget's theory of development can be seen through classroom activities and cognitive abilities of different children. In fact, the separation of children through grade levels allows them for curriculum to be catered toward children in different developmental stages. In a study completed by Christy Hammer in 1981, she examines the differences between children at different stages of development. At the school setting, the study consisted of observing behaviors of children in 3 separate stages. Children in stage A exhibited low self-control and they really truly needed structure. Content was made by the teachers and it was highly organized for them. Children in stage B, they were able to work in small group and make some of their own choices, yet they still had their partners and the teacher around to help them. And then children in stage C worked completely independently of each other and the teacher. These children were beginning to have more self-awareness, and they were able to handle more complex topics such as prejudice, relationships, and values. According to her results, grouping students by conceptual levels made it easier for the teachers to plan and successfully deliver lessons and activities. Piaget's theory has widely impacted grade-level curriculum. According to Dr. Vicky Hargraves from 2021, Piaget's theory does not support that specific activities can help speed up or slow down a child's ability to move through the stages. Because of that, curriculum must be catered towards the student specifically. Piaget's influence on teaching practices has allowed for teachers to provide the appropriate learning experiences and materials that will allow for students to be challenged in the specific age of development. This could look like learning to read and sound out words, to summarizing what was read, and then finally looking for a deeper meaning within the text. Piaget's research will continue to be used as a reference for educators, child psychologists, and anyone working with children. Piaget's theory of genetic epistemology allowed for everyone to learn more about exactly what he was studying, and then his 4 stages of development demonstrated a new way of understanding the way children think. Jean Piaget has substantially influenced our understanding of cognitive development, and his research has heavily influenced the education system. His research allowed us to have a stronger ability to understand the child's brain. Well, for the most part.